Hi, welcome to the news. I'm Amata Balachandra. Let's get straight to it. COVID cases across the country are continuing to rise, and several states have now announced restrictions as well. To give you an update, India's Omicron tally has now reached 1,892. Total COVID cases in the country, and this is daily COVID cases, is at 37,379 new COVID cases and 124 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. Now, Delhi, for instance, we start with Delhi, as several other states have also announced curbs. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has today announced weekend curfew in the national capital starting this weekend. Work from home has been made compulsory for government officials except for those in essential services. Private offices can work at a capacity of 50%. Earlier, they had said buses and metro services will function at a lower capacity. Now it's been announced that buses and metro services will also be at full capacity, and this is to avoid crowds, and wearing masks will be mandatory as well in buses and metros. Meanwhile, Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar has now said that if Mumbai's daily COVID cases go up to more than 20,000, then a lockdown could be expected. Now, a week ago, the city was reporting around 800 cases. As of today, it's crossed the 10,000 mark at 10,860 new COVID cases. In the meantime, according to the Times of India, Mumbai's hospitalization has increased by 15% in the last 4 days. In the meantime, taking a look at Bengaluru in Karnataka, for instance, has reported 2,479 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours with a positivity rate of 2.59%. Out of these, 2,053 cases have been reported from Bengaluru alone. Karnataka Health Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that the cases are doubling every 2 or 3 days. Punjab, in the meantime, has imposed a night curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. with immediate effect. The state government has also ordered to close all educational institutions. The order will remain in effect till the 15th of January. However, no restrictions have been announced for political rallies and gatherings. Telangana, meanwhile, has imposed restrictions on schools and educational institutions. They will remain shut in Telangana from the 8th of January to the 16th of January. No decision has been taken on any night curfew and any further restrictions as of reports. Moving on now to what's happening across the globe. There is a new COVID variant called IHU that's been discovered in France. It's also called as B16402. Now, this has been reported by researchers at Institute IHU Mediterranean infection in at least 12 cases and has been linked to travel to African country Cameroon. Now, a PTI report says that according to early studies that are yet to be peer reviewed, this is not yet peer reviewed, IHU has 46 mutations, which is more than Omicron. Now, it's not yet been reported in any other country yet and has been labeled as a variant under investigation by the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, the United States has reported over 1 million COVID cases on Monday, which is the highest ever, and this is a daily report of COVID cases. It's recorded 1,643 deaths on the same day. Now, these numbers being posted in the US come even as many Americans are relying on tests that they're taking at home, with results that aren't reported to official government authorities. That means the record is surely a significant underestimate, according to reports. Now, the US Food and Drug Administration has approved booster shots for the Pfizer BioNTech COVID vaccine for children aged 12 to 15. Now, the agency also authorized a third shot for children aged 5 to 11 who are immunocompromised. Now, the FDA has reduced the interval for a booster dose eligibility to 5 months from 6 months. Also in the news now, Mumbai police have arrested the 21-year-old engineering student Vishal Kumar in the Bulli Bai app case. who was detained in Bengaluru yesterday. He will be remanded to police custody till the 10th of January. According to the News Minute, a senior IPS officer has said, and I quote, the 21-year-old is a second-year civil engineering student. He used his Twitter handle to share derogatory content from the Bulli Bai app. We have detained him, end quote. Now, to give you a bit of a context, the Bulli Bai app controversy surfaced on the 1st of January as several Muslim women found themselves on auction on an app. Mumbai and Delhi police are currently investigating this matter. Meanwhile, amid Omicron surge in the country, rallies in Uttar Pradesh continue without any COVID safety norms. Now, the latest videos that are doing the rounds are of those from a marathon that was organized by the Congress party in Uttar Pradesh's Bareilly under its Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon poll campaign. And they show a stampede-like situation according to these videos. A Hindustan Times report has said that the Congress leader and former Bareilly Mayor Supriya Aaron shockingly said, and I quote, when a stampede can happen in Vaishnav Devi, these are just girls. It is human nature, but I want to apologize, end quote. Now, Congress party's rallies are not the only one where there are huge number of crowds. There have been other rallies also in the past. NDTV, for instance, reported that visuals from SP leader Akhilesh Yadav's rally at Unnao and Union Home Minister Amit Shah's roadshow in Hardoi last week showed how people are seen paying scant attention to COVID safety rules. There's huge crowds in a situation that's causing more concern, especially with rising cases of Omicron and COVID in general in the country. Let's now take a look at business news. Apple on Monday became the world's first company to briefly hit $3 trillion in market capitalization, exactly 45 years after the company was formed. Now, Apple was incorporated on January 3rd, 1977 by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Now, Apple had hit the $2 trillion mark in August 2020. And now on to news coming in from across the world, starting off with what 5 world powers have pledged, and these are US, Russia, China, the UK and France. They've agreed that, and I quote, a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought, end quote. Now, it is a rare joint pledge to reduce the risk of escalating conflicts. These countries are also the permanent members of the UN Security Council. Now, this comes amid tensions between Russia, China and the Western countries. Meanwhile, an update on what's happening in Sudan. Sudanese security forces fired tear gas at anti-coup protesters in Khartoum, chanting slogans against the military, and this is a report by the Al Jazeera. This comes after Sudan's PM had resigned. The protesters shouted, and I quote, no to military rule, end quote, and called for the disbandment of Sudan's ruling council, headed by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who led an October 25th coup that derailed a transition to civilian rule. Also in the news, Israel on Tuesday lifted restrictions barring same-sex couples and single men from becoming parents through surrogacy within the country, upholding a Supreme Court ruling to end the ban. Now, at a press conference, the health minister said, and I quote, it is a historic day for the LGBTQIA plus struggle in Israel, end quote. In fact, Israel's LGBTQIA plus community had demanded for years to be allowed to pursue surrogacy. And one piece of positive news before we end this bulletin, Dr. Alka Mittal has become the first woman to lead Oil and Natural Gas Cooperation, also called as ONGC, as its chairman and MD. She had joined ONGC as a graduate trainee in 1985. Dr. Mittal was appointed as ONGC's Director, Human Resources in 2018 and continues to hold that post. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.